boys told me not to do it. They told me not to mush the action like this. They say nothing I ever do like this comes to fruition, but I'm going to do it anyways. Picture this. Week 17, all the money up for grabs. Bengals, Chiefs, they defer. Chiefs get the ball. First play. Play action. Who's streaking down the sidelines? Justin Watson, the guy you need, running it back from the Super Bowl into week 17, boys. It is coming to fruition. The thesis stays the same. Nothing has changed.
How did I not see that coming? I cannot believe I did not see that coming. That was completely blindsided.
I was just gonna say, I was just completely blindsided as a co-host.
That's
here.
Great.
I had no idea that was gonna come back to Justin Watson, but I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it coming.
Just reeling them in, baby, reeling them in.
I was like on the edge of my seat. I was like, "What's going on here?" Like we go, okay, I'm picturing it, and then I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah. So obviously the first schedule release piece of information that we got, a week 17 matchup between Bengals and Chiefs, taking the world by storm right now. All the correlation bros are going crazy with it. It is, as Justin Herzig tweeted earlier, it is probably the most minus EV day to start drafting a BBM, because the reactionary impulses of this early news, it's going to come to fruition in these first drafts, and something weird's going to happen with Kelsey Higgins or something like this, where people are going to go too far with it. But we're going to do it anyways because it's awesome.
Of course we are. Of course we are. That's a good point by him, though. I will say, like, by either party, like, depending on what your stance is, definitely better to just simply wait. But hey, if you're somebody who likes to wish cast and you got a crystal ball, then be my guest for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Andrew tagged us in a tweet there, Baseball Streets last night, GPNGC. I always mess it up, but took that one down last night. Love to see that. And then a couple takedowns since we were live here last in the NBA streets. Some of the usual suspects, Andy, Crutches. John Boy was flirting with it. Never 8.3 points away from perfection. It was duped anyways. It was duped once. So, just good to see. So you guys want to start there? Let's talk a little hoops.
Yeah. A lot of stuff to discuss in the hoop slate today. I think when we get these set of games, it's a lot more interesting than the other set of games from that we had yesterday. Maybe I'm in the minority on there, but when with all these Heat guys, I think that's kind of like the place to start is how do you rank them?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're onto something there with setting the scene. Is I think why these two games are more interesting for us for this is we've just seen more moving pieces. We've just seen way more utility from different places, new lineups, new rotations. The other series in the East, like that Boston and Sixers one, apart from the Embiid being out game, we've seen the same starting lineup from both teams every single game, basically. Yeah. Right. So just so many moving pieces here, and we'll talk through some of them. And I guess, Heat feels like a good place to start there. I'll pull this stuff up. Neumy, any stuff you want to add from yesterday's contest or today, or the direction we're heading here?
No. Yesterday was a little tough for your boy, but that happens. Yeah.
Who were you on yesterday?
I forget who. I thought I sent you guys it. Maybe I didn't, but I forget who were my highest exposed. But I thought I had a Heat check lineup that for some reason the Heat check lineups that I build always seem to like last through the first game, and like not last, they actually give me hope. And I told you guys I've been getting up so early that I'm not even kidding you. The game starts and it's literally like 9:30 here. I'm like, holy crap! Like literally, like I'm wanting to go to bed. Yeah. Like at first quarter, and I'm done. I'm like watching it in my bed, so I have no idea how it goes. But same thing. I had Ayton and the boys. I think I just wasn't on enough Bruce Brown. We'll say that from looking at the recap.
That was
I had a good amount, but just not enough. And taking KCP over him at some points, you know what I mean? Just thinking,
Mhm.
the KCP at home narrative, he can light it up, yada yada. Get hot from three. Next thing you know, he's just they're just going to him, role players at home type deal. But
I mean, he had a good game though, did he not? KCP.
Yeah, they both did. Yeah, they
Yeah.
both did.
They did. I did.
So did Michael Porter. I think the biggest decision point on the slate was the Aaron Gordon stuff.
Well, yeah, and then what I was going to say to you, Nez, is basically when you have all these Heat guys, to me, I'm looking at it, and it's like kind of like an off-brand, like when you're looking at these Celtics guys that were there. Like, what Celtic guy are you going to click between Smart, Brogdon, and White? Obviously, for me, it was going to be It was going to be White, Brogdon, and White down a little bit of a tier, albeit I'm a White guy, you know what I mean? But here you are.
Yeah, you are.
I'm a Derek White guy. All right, we'll clear that up. But I think there's the same case that can be made when you get into these drafts. I mean, you get right away where you're looking at Max Strus, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, and that's to me kind of like the same thing that you were dealing with those Boston guys.
Right.
And I have a clear, definitive rank of kind of how I have them, with Gabe Vincent being the Derek White kind of falling out of favor, you know what I mean, type deal. But it's the same narrative. Either one of these three guys can catch fire and be the guy that you absolutely need, because if they're shooting in this game and they're hot and someone else isn't, they're going to keep them in there. Like Gabe Vincent could easily go from his 18 minutes to back to 30 plus because he's lighting it up from three, and it's not the Max Juice game. So decision points on decision points. We can talk about it. Same thing when we get up there, but the same thing with all of the Warriors guys too. So
yeah, no, I think the summary of yesterday was whether you were on Bruce Brown and Ayton or you weren't, and how high you had ranked campaign. And then if you were lapping the field on Aaron Gordon and Al Horford and Derek White, you weren't getting there, right? Like you needed to be on the right Celtics guys. So it just interesting slate in general, but I think today's way more fun because we've seen a lot of changes from both these teams, a lot of adjustments from both of them. And I think we start with the Miami pieces that you were talking about there. Nez, do you have a lean with Miami rotation? It's basically been Love in the starting lineup, Vincent in the starting lineup, Strus in the starting lineup, and then Lowry playing big minutes with the second unit there. What do you guys leaning with some of these Miami pieces?
Right now, I'm like very much in favor of just betting on Max Strus at the moment. That's where my exposures lie right now. I have like twice as much Strus as I do Gabe Vincent, and almost twice as much as I do Caleb Martin. So that's where I've been like trying to get my leverage, and a lot of that is from like 5th and 6th round Strus, which if you get into a room with familiar faces, friends of the show, etc., Strus usually doesn't make it to the 5th. He's usually like at the latest like a 4 or 5 turn pick. So I was just trying to get ahead of that, because as I draft later, I'm going to be running into more of these guys. So just wanted to get ahead of that exposure. I don't really have a lean as far as game flow goes. Like I think to me, it's a toss-up, but just the way that Strus has been getting the minutes and like the shooting volume that he's shown to have the green light for, to me, gives him like a pretty safe floor is kind of where I'm at with it. And I like Kyle Lowry too, I will say. He doesn't fall a lot, but I like him today. It's gonna be interesting because I think both these games have like disappointing potential, where Knicks Heat, it could be like a really gritty, like the game goes under 207, and on the Heat and on the Golden State Lakers side, Golden State is 7-point favorites. We've seen blowouts on either side, on only once for Golden State. If both of those scenarios hit, the winning lineup could be really weird.
No, I definitely agree with like your macro overarching there is just, to set the lay of the land, which we should have done off the jump, is, 2 must-win games, right? 2 desperate teams coming home that have to win, right? Yeah. Both down 3-1 in their series. So it's going to be interesting because you can paint that Lakers narrative of how we've been talking about days on, days off, like this sort of thing. They're resting themselves. They're playing the long game. There is a very viable path that they play 3 quarters tonight. Like they play 3 quarters. The Warriors are up 15. They shut it down and they go, hey, we're coming home for game 6. All we got to do is win 1 out of the last 3.
Yeah.
Like that is the veteran LeBron AD thought process. And I do think putting that into our process might be like kind of bad. It's kind of like projecting blowouts in NFL, right? And being like, hey, yeah, the Texans versus Chiefs game, they're 16.5-point favorites. Oh, we can't touch it. It's going to be blowout. The third quarter, there's going to be starters. And lo and behold, that was the game you needed that week where they're playing a shootout back and forth.
Yep.
But and this is the playoffs, right? Like nobody's rolling over here.
Yeah.
But I do get what you're saying entirely there. I think for me, the biggest point, forget pace, forget, we just know that the first game is going to be a lower total and a slower pace and whatever. I think my biggest thing is what the hell are these starting lineups going to look like? Because I think that really impacts your decision making, whether you're on Josh Hart, whether you're on Quentin Grimes. Like that's a big decision point on the slate. Whether you're on Looney, whether you're on Gary Payton, that's a huge decision point of this slate because it, unlike any other one that we've had up until this point in, call it the last 10 days, this slate offers you can actually do whatever you want and get crazy exploitative over the field on basically anyone other than Anthony Davis because he's always going in the top 2 spots.
Yeah, which is so like that. My thing was going to be, I think there's one guy that you can click that it for me is the decision point in the entire slate. You just scroll down a little bit and just go ahead and click Jordan Poole's name because in my ranks, my personal ranks, he's not in them. He's just not in them. If the dude isn't in the rotation basically of the team, and the team doesn't have the backing of them, why are like this seems like one of the just this identifying a point of leverage that you can either go on either way of, and for me it's going to be a clear-cut fade. Now could that come back to bite me while all of a sudden it's like, all right, Jordan, this is a do or die, we're paying you this money, and Jordan Poole's in the starting lineup, you know what I mean, or something like that.
Put your water on, big fella.
All of this nonsense. But for right now, me personally, the way he's been playing, I'm just trying to go in and read and adjust and how these are like series are going and use that into this thinking. Jordan Poole for me there's guys under him, Caleb Martin, love him. There's so many guys under him that I'd rather click, including some other Golden State Warriors. That for me is a decision point that is going to be there. And if he's off my board, and that's going to lead you to possibly some different lineups. But yeah, that decision point is crazy for me. And that's going to be a full fade. And also, I just want to say, I know you said not getting overweight AD. It's crazy. Over in the highest exposed player for me and Nez, again, could just be variance the way we've got it through 20 and 60 drafts for this guy, is our highest exposed player's AD. He's been falling to the 102 kind of like more often than you would think. So just saying that has been happening. So it's kind of
okay. Yeah. Weird. So maybe there is a path to getting over it then.
That's which I will, if that path is available, I'm going to take that path and I'm going to sprint down it. So,
okay. Yeah, see, Nez kind of led with the Miami stuff, and I think that game's interesting, and I think picking the correct auxiliary part of that game is interesting. I think it matters considerably less than what your decision point is on Looney and Poole and, Peyton, Lonnie Walker, these auxiliary pieces for the Lakers. What we're doing with D'Angelo Russell after he doesn't close last game, he gets removed for his defense when his shooting isn't hot. Austin Reeves, like these kind of pieces. I think that's where the slate's going to be won tonight, because I think there are an abundance of late round guys that are going to give you 15 to 22. Now searching for the one who is the Bruce Brown of last night, who kind of separates the slate with a 33, 35, whatever, that's one path. For me, it's this clusterfuck in the middle. And to Neumy's point, both Looney and Poole, I'll bring up Looney as well, their projections were projected as if this was 5 games ago last night. So both of them were like 34 and 29 projected. So I was just looking back here at some of my drafts. Like there are some teams where like they were both landmines early in the drafting process. And some people like obviously have some of these like super ish teams right now.
Yeah.
Just kind of like looking back at mine. But
yeah, I mean,
but
I
yeah,
can assume if they're pushed up with that projection and going in the range of these other guys, you're getting some of them to fall into combos that you're not getting with now, because now you're just fighting over all those middle guys without having Poole and Looney just inserted in there for people to take. So yeah, that makes sense. I did not know that. That's good. That's good info.
Yeah, and so I think the biggest decisions in terms of like starting lineups is if we get Quentin Grimes starting again. I imagine we do, which makes Josh Hart very similar to Jordan. Your thesis on Jordan Poole for me is kind of like Josh Hart's almost do not touch at like his current price tag, because he got into a bit of foul trouble last game, but when he was coming off the bench, man, like Tibbs just runs with his starters. It's just like what he does. And Grimes goes from like being a non-factor to just being like, here's 33 minutes, right?
He played the second most minutes last game.
Right.
42.
Exactly.
42.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. So there's that one there. I think another decision point that I alluded to was the D'Angelo Russell, whether he closes or not. He would have to, for D'Angelo Russell to close right now, Lakers are going to have to be trailing by 5, need shooters on the floor, and need point scoring on the floor to be in the closing lineup. I think that's like his path. And then the Warriors one is, do they start Peyton again instead of Looney because they want to win those high screen and rolls over and over again? And we talked about it a little bit behind closed doors, is the Lakers were getting absolutely murdered when they pull AD out of the paint. Like, that is the whole mindset, is bring up Peyton. AD has to follow, high screen and rolls at the top there. He's out of the paint. And what doesn't play well with that is putting Kevon Looney back in the starting lineup. I was a proponent in the previous game. Okay, Looney was sick. Looney comes back in and they run that big versus big, put him down, below the baseline, open up the middle of that court and look for kick out threes. It appears as if they're doing something completely different. They run small side screen and roll. AD has to come out of the paint that way. Then they can hit cutters in the paint, which is, their points in the paint last game versus games in the past when Looney was in, astronomical. Yeah. And then they got away from it in the second half. So I'm really hoping they stick to what was working in the first half and just run with that. So interesting decision points there for you guys. Do you guys see it similar to me with the Looney versus Peyton? You guys, which side of that do you want to be on? What are you guys thinking through here?
I think you had really good points about the way that they defend Looney, and it allows that AD to just completely clog up the middle. Like that is, I mean, it shows in the minutes that they've given Looney. Like the matchup just isn't good for Looney to be on the floor that much. I think, if you really want to galaxy brain it, your path is, well, AD foul trouble opens the door for Looney to get in the game more, and he goes off when he's in there. So you could tell yourself, okay, if I want Looney, the decision tree is, do I have AD or not? Just based on like that analysis. And it's still thin, just because like we've seen it all series basically, is that they don't see Looney as a good matchup in there. So that was just like a really, really good point. And man, it's tough. I think like Peyton looks good when he's on the floor with them. Like I feel like he has good chemistry. He runs well with the Warriors, but like it hasn't really like worked. So I just see them kind of shaking shit up a little bit, and I don't know what that looks like, but I see them kind of shaking shit up.
Yeah, Nick alluding to something here too, that it sounds like they want to go back to Looney as well. I mean, Looney was a beast in the first series, and even in the first game of this series, when AD feasted and had like the game you need, Looney still had like 21 boards, like completely different style of ball, right? I don't think we see what we saw in the end of the second half last game for the Lakers. The Lakers made a very, very smart adjustment, in my opinion, where they made LeBron the on-ball point guard guy. when they brought in Lonnie Walker was hot, obviously. Maybe that's why, Derek alluding to, maybe that's why D'Lo was sitting. I think a lot of smart people were saying D'Lo was going to be sitting the first couple games because his defense is just so bad. He's such a liability. So when they make this adjustment to go, hey, Braun is the on-ball guy and he's running the point, you don't need D'Lo on the floor, right? So I think that is kind of the mindset. I don't think we see that in this game. I think they save that tactic. I think they keep that one in their back pocket for game 6 if we're going to go close it out. Honestly, I just don't think they want to put like Braun through that again, right?
Yeah,
Neumy, what's up, man?
No, I agree there. And to that point, for me, it's Gary Payton is the guy that I've been on. I mean, you want to talk about just following the money, following that. I mean, the Warriors let Gary Payton go sign with the Blazers. Didn't play any game. Played 15 games with the Blazers. Got hurt. Then proceeded to trade back for Gary Payton, literally in a 4-team deal to get him back. I mean, they literally loved Gary Payton. Like there was that. Oh, is he actually going to be there? So I think when he was healthy and ready to go, they're like, this is going to be our our fail safe type thing, and they're going to put him in there. I like Gary Payton. I think he plays that. I mean, I agree with you. It's going to be tough. Like it's Steve Kerr. I will caveat that anything we're thinking here, it is Steve Kerr, and he could just come out and say, you know what? We saw what Looney did in game 1, and that's going to be his reason. Next thing you know, Looney's back in the starting lineup. Like it could be, it could be Poole. It could be that. One guy that I think I've been talking with Nez, that's just another interesting, is just Dante DiVincenzo. And he's getting squeezed.
He's pushing for that Dante game. He's pushing.
It's not even me this time. It's not even me this time.
No. I'm just saying as the potential last pick, like you're sitting on the last pick when there's when there's guys. And I'm trying to get names, but when the people that you're looking through, I just think he's worth a mention. Like he's not someone I'm going to be trying to be overweight to, but like when you're looking at when you're looking at the names,
Vanderbilt, Rui, Moses Moody, Dante DiVincenzo,
Walker because he has a 0 for some reason.
Yeah. So like,
which is interesting.
If I can get
last night, he had a 14 or a 17 last night.
Another reason, which is interesting, but like if I get Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, like Kevin Love, these guys, I'm going to probably pull the trigger on them over DiVincenzo. I'm just saying it's another opportunity of a guy that is playing at home. We know that if he's filling it up, and he can get there in a couple of extra peripherals. So
Love, another guy that last night's projection was like 13 and now has moved up to like 20 something. He was going undrafted.
He'll get you 23 minutes. He'll get you 23 minutes a game and they'll cap at that.
Maybe 10 minutes, maybe 10 points.
So it's what can he get? Yeah, what can he get for you in 23 minutes? Because literally, if you look at what he's been doing it's been his last 3 is 23. I tried to look at like his other like besides that, but yeah, he's just getting a solid like 20ish to 23 minutes a game.
Yeah, seeing Moses Moody talk in the chat, Derek saying might play 30 tonight. Chip saying it's Moses night. I mean, I don't know.
Could very well be. I mean,
if they blow him out, like Moody's probably on there in the fourth, right? Like if this is a blowout, is it like Moody in the last?
You would think.
I mean, it didn't have to be last game. He was part of the closing lineup. Like the closing lineup here was Wiggins, Steph, Draymond, Clay, Moses Moody.
Yeah.
And they ran Moses Moody over Gary Payton II, who apparently shit himself in the middle of the game. Did you guys see that? It was pretty hysterical. Dude, it was hysterical.
What?
So they pulled out a defensive rebound. And Gary Payton is standing in the corner right by the bench, and he kind of like grabs like his butt or like the back of his shorts and then just runs down the tunnel. And the rest of the play just carries on. Anyways, they get into their offensive set and, there's a kick out and then Draymond fires a pass to exactly where Gary Payton should be standing. And he's not there because he ran down the tunnel at the other end of the floor, didn't see it, passes it to the Lakers assistant coach on the bench. And then like Draymond just puts up his hands. He's like, what the fuck? Like where'd Payton go? And then Payton was just gone for like 5-6 minutes, and then he subs back in.
They're saying he threw up in his mouth.
They threw up in his mouth and kept it in his mouth.
Oh, is that what he did?
Yeah, he threw up in his mouth, but he kept it in his mouth and then just left.
Oh my god!
Like, bro, it was like full cheeks. Like
he's going. He looks. He looks.
I thought it was full cheeks the other way.
No, he looked like me in the Uber, like on the way home from the bar, like trying not to get that $300 surcharge.
Yeah, trying to be like that guy. Like, yo, sir, put the child locks off. I gotta get this window
down. Turn up the
down.
fucking heat, man. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Man, we need some fresh air in this cab right now.
Been there too
many
times.
There's Draymond. There's Draymond's reaction. He's like literally like, what the like what?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He kicks it right to the corner, like just like instinctual reaction, eyes this way, ball this way. It was very
weird.
fun.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
If
anyways,
wouldn't tip off at freaking literally like near 10 o'clock, I'd be able to witness some of these things going on.
Yeah, I mean, like this series has been good. The West Coast series have been a lot more fun than the East Coast. Like even last night's game with the Denver game, like it looked like Denver was gonna just go body bag on that team in the first quarter. Like they were up like 15 at the break or something like that, and at the break of the first quarter. And then it's just like, holy shit, we got ourselves a ball game back and forth. Yeah, I'm pretty happy I didn't buy into those jock minutes. Yeah. Anyways, let's DiVincenzo could be a piece here. The Jermichael Green thing looks kind of dead. It looks like he just started the one game and then they were just like, hey man, Gary Payton's the better option to start in that role. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The Moses Moody stuff is very interesting because he's basically a younger, faster 1-for-1 replacement for Gary Payton. No, like
yeah, much younger, much younger, like near 10 years.
He's a rookie
younger,
this year, right? Yeah, he's a rookie this year, right? Last year? Okay.
Yeah, so he's from was it Arkansas?
Yeah,
was it Arkansas? He's very young.
Yeah,
he's
20.
He's 20. Yeah, so it's a 10-year difference in that. Yeah. That's crazy though, just that they're trusting when he was a back end, like the end of the lottery pick at 14, but they're trusting a 20-year-old in their closing lineup. Like,
yeah,
that's fun.
That's a lot of faith. Okay, let's see. I want to get your guys' gun to your head right now. Okay. Starting lineups that we're looking at right now from each of these teams and favorite ADP adjusted play per team. Neumy, we'll start with you. The Heat. We're each going down the line here. The Heat. Is this the starting lineup you expect?
Yes, it is.
That's the starting lineup.
The favorite ADP adjusted, I will go with if you're in a sharp lobby, it's not Max Strus, it's Gabe Vincent. But if you're in a non-badge lobby, it'll be Max Strus because you can get him to the back end 5th and 6th. Otherwise, it's going to be Gabe Vincent because Max.
So people are pushing up Strus. You're saying
not too far. Not like he's just going in the early 5th basically, rather than being available at that turn or sometimes in the 6th in some other lobbies that he is. So
okay, Nez. Favorite, is this the rotation or is this the starting lineup you expect?
I think so.
And who's your favorite price adjusted player?
I think my favorite, like I have the most Strus. But I think when I think about it, I think it might be Kyle Lowry. I'm pretty big on Kyle Lowry. I like he has playoff experience and like he's getting good run. And I think maybe Neumy pointed this out or somebody else that like when he's on the floor, a lot of the time it's like sans Jimmy. So he kind of gets more usage just based on like the rotation that's out there with him. I think he's just like really safe. I don't see him killing your lineup like Vincent, Strus, and Martin potentially could. I just don't see that. I see his floor as being much safer than theirs.
Yeah, I like that. I do think we see something similar if we get a close game here. And I'm expecting this game to be closer than the other game, just from my bro science brain. But I tend to agree with you there where like we get this Lowry runs the bench unit stretch where Butler's not on the floor in the first half. And then in the second half, they go back to the starters and then Lowry is part of the closing lineup. That's what I fully anticipate. And I think that is also hinging upon the Quentin Grimes stuff. If Grimes is on the floor in the closing lineup, I think Lowry's on the floor in the closing lineup. If it's Hart on the floor in the closing lineup, I think maybe we get a little something wonky there from
That
an adjustment from the
Well,
Heat side. Maybe
I
Love,
guess
maybe Caleb Martin, something like that.
I'll change my answer just real quick from Vincent to Martin, because Martin is the guy that I have the most of the Heat, and for his
Mhm.
defensive purposes, that's why he's going to be on the floor in these closing minutes, and you see him on the floor the entire fourth quarter. He's been on that way. He's there for his defensive chops and can get hot and from streaky from three. So I mean,
He's a little bit like
he's got that Q tag, and he's normally always there along with
yeah.
them. So I'll always take Caleb Martin and hope he can just fall into those minutes. You know what I mean? Like
For
like
reference
said,
on the
but go ahead.
For reference on the Q tag, it's been there for the last like 4 or 5 games since the back thing, right?
Yep.
So he did the back thing and he's played every single one of those games, and it kind of feels like the Gobert Q tag right now, where it's like,
It's the
not really a
LeBron
Q
regular
tag.
season. Yeah, it's the LeBron regular season Q tag, where we know he's playing, but it's there just to suppress it a little bit.
I like the Martin stance because it feels like Martin is their version of Josh Hart, where it's like he can rebound a little bit, he can defend well, but then he's a better shooter, in my opinion, than Hart is. So like he can fill it up a little bit too. I don't know. Is that a good comp? That kind of feels discount Hart.
Basically, yeah. That now you're gonna make me go with no Hart, and he's gonna have that bounce back game in the Garden. You know what I mean? Like there, like
yeah.
And that's this one thing that I know we're gonna get to it, but yeah, I think that's fair. I really do like Caleb Martin. I mean, you see the consistency in the minutes that he's getting, and I know it's like he just falls over 30 that one time. The fantasy point per minute player that he is, it
seems like it's creeping up, right? Like the minutes, right? Because he was like kind of banged up. He was legitimately questionable, I believe, for the one game where he had his lowest output, and they've been slowly ramping him up.
To start the series, 30 and 38 minutes, and then it went down to 22 and 25. So I'll have to look at his efficiency, but I mean, put up 24 and 33 fantasy points, put up 22. So we just take away that kind of outlier game. Yeah, I like Caleb Martin just for that kind of the price he is, and he seems to be there. And I'm fine with adding him along if you already have a Heat or two. That's something to be conscious with. I will say in these drafts is if you're taking the value or taking maybe an extra Heat or Nick guy, there's mainly at the end you're looking at with a back end Heat or Nick guy. So you could be just building out a game stack without even trying.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I kind of agree with you guys there. I think it's kind of whack-a-mole with these guys. I think Caleb Martin is probably my favorite in the 6th round there when you can get him to slide there because of the Q tag. But I'm not ruling out the fact that Gabe Vincent can get hot as hell from 3 and be part of that starting lineup and just hit 3 threes, 4 threes in the first 8 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, this is the Gabe Vincent game. Yeah, but if I'm looking for those kind of safety in peripheral stats in a close game, I do agree with the Caleb Martin. I think I will be over the field on Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, and Caleb Martin, and I will kind of be off the Strus and Kevin Love stuff. That's kind of my thought process right now. Knicks starting lineup. Do we anticipate this, or do we anticipate Hart drawing back in?
I think they're gonna go with Grimes.
Nez?
The Grimes thesis makes a lot of sense, right? Like he is their best shooter right now, and he just played 42 minutes. For that to change, it would be kind of questionable. I think I would be weird for them to change the process. However, I still think that Josh Hart is a good click. I'm maybe I'm the fool here, fool me once, but and I'm not adjusting enough to what we just saw. But that stat line just felt like just a fluke bad game. He's in the Garden. Fans love him. The teams love him. Yeah, what does that have to do with the on-court performance? But I'm just I'm in on Josh Hart. I think he offers a pretty good floor, and I'm just betting on last game being an absolute fluke. He had nothing close to that in the rest of the series.
Yep. I could definitely see that too. I do agree that they need shooting out there because Randall's been very poor from the field. I hope that turns around tonight.
Would love that.
Yeah, Randall has not done much in ways of shooting. So I do think you're right in terms of hey man, we need another spot out shooter out there. And I think the only thing that could throw a wrench in this is if we get a midday little Emmanuel Quickly is going to try and play through it situation. Because if Quickly tries to play through it and they go, hey man, this is do or die. Quickly's out there. I could see them going back to Hart in the starting lineup and then running that second unit with like Quickly, Grimes, like stuff like that with the shooting off the bench instead of having the shooting in the starting lineup. But that's just one caveat. I don't necessarily believe that. I'm just kind of like throwing it out there.
Yeah, one thing I'm just trying to look at these game logs, and one thing that besides game 1 where Grimes was clearly limited, he's been the guy that's closed. He's the only guy that has been on the court the entire fourth quarter for these last games. Like Grimes is getting that in. Sorry, Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes is the only one getting it besides the first game when he was clearly limited.
I see RJ Barrett here too.
Yeah, so sorry. I'm just looking at this game log and trying to pop over and see. So yeah, RJ's there. But it's just I think if he's gonna start the game, he's going to get the most minute, and they're just going to run him out there like the starter. I think your Tibbs take is a really good point, and I think Josh Hart gets a little bit suppressed by just not being that starter. He wants Josh out there for the defense. Don't get me wrong; he's a much better defender than Grimes. But yeah, I think Grimes is adequate enough that if that starting lineup is running with it, he's just going to run with it. You know what I mean?
Favorite cost adjusted Neumy?
Quentin Grimes.
Nez.
For me, it's Grimes. Grimes is pretty cheap.
He's cheaper than Hart, so.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Randall over Brunson tonight, and I think that's spicy.
I think the Randall game is going to come at any point, and why not be at home? Why not be at home? You know what I mean? Even I know the narrative was, he loves to perform in South Beach. Look at his numbers, yada yada. But I mean, season on the line. Brunson's going to get his.
He's the first option.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Randall could definitely.
So we haven't really talked about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John. You had a point to make.
Yeah, I think my favorite cost adjusted is Robinson. I think I'm going to be over the field.
I was about to ask about Mitch Rob.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's a very good matchup versus Bam. Bam used to be a really good defender. Bam has had no stocks in this series. Basically. He's had basically no stocks, and you can't get stocks because you can't reach the fucking ball because the guy's 7 feet tall.
Yeah, because Mitchell Robinson has a 10-foot wingspan.
Exactly, right? Like he can't touch the ball, and he can't get boards because Mitchell Robinson's there too, right? So like Bam just feels like you're paying for. Bam feels very much like in this series, Aaron Gordon in the other series, where it's like I'm paying for his 1 fantasy point per minute for 35 minutes. That's just what I'm paying for.
And the field likes
it baked into the price. Yeah. And it's like every single game, he doesn't disappoint on that. He gives you those 35. And every time, even last game, I was like, I'm over the field on Bam. I said it to you guys in the group chat. I was like, I'm over the field on Bam. And I think this might be the Bam game. And it wasn't the Bam game. Like it was the Bam game, but it didn't matter. It didn't move the needle, right?
Exactly.
I just think Mitchell Robinson's a very bad matchup for him down low.
And he has that 6-block game like in his bag, like he can absolutely just wreck if everything lines up his way and he doesn't get in foul trouble, and the sun eclipses and Jupiter lines up with the moon, then it can get there. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Yeah. Can I interest you? And I believe it was the final game of the Cavs where he put up like 50 points.
That's what I mean.
Mitch Rob,
the final game of the Cavs series, brother put up 50 fantasy points, 50 underdog points. Like if like that, it'll be the quickest when Al Horford put up what he did, and it was like, oh, if you don't have Al, it'll be like, well, it's like I have 17% Mitch Rob. Like hopefully I have the right combo. So those are the guys I agree. I like getting overweight on that, and that's a good take. I mean, Mitch Rob can fall. I mean, he can break it, but hopefully he's like at his price too. He's fallen to that 5th sometimes. Like I've got him in the 5th sometimes, and I'll gladly take it. Like people just don't want to click him.
Yeah. Okay. Let's rapid fire these last couple and hop in a draft here. But I wanted to hit on this. I think this one's really funny. It is pretty funny to watch what Dallas did last year. Dallas, lets Brunson walk in free agency, right? Then they realize like, hey, what's this team missing? Oh, how about a ball handling and scoring guard? Oh, okay. Let's leverage our future and trade DFS, Dinwiddie, a 1st and 2 seconds to go fill the void that Brunson left
for a lesser
right?
Brunson.
For a lesser Brunson in Kyrie. Let's overpay for that. And then he's going to walk after 1 year with an opt-out. Like, it's just, and then to do that, to shut him down where he didn't even play the last game that could have got them into a play-in game, that could have even given them a chance at that. It's just unfathomable to see the,
Mark Cuban masterclass, baby.
Oh, was it ever? Like, it was just a classic. Like, we have no clear-cut plan. We have Luka, and we're just gonna figure it out as we go. And they fucked it at every interval.
I hope Luka gets out of Dodge. I hope he gets out of Dodge. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I don't. I completely
get the most
situation to see what they do. I don't know. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. That's gonna be a Luka decision if he wants to stick around. That sort of deal. Lakers. Do we believe what we saw last game with Lonnie Walker? I think this is the starting lineup again, regardless. But what do you guys think about Schroeder off the bench? Rui kind of getting a little bit phased out. Lonnie Walker took some big minutes there. This rotation, favorite play, what do you guys got from the top? Neumy, is this the starting lineup?
Yeah, I believe this is going to be the starting lineup that they're going to run with. And for my favorite play, just gonna, oh goodness, I'm just gonna go with Austin Reeves yet again. Yeah. I mean, he's just there at a nice price. So
yeah, he seems like a nice price and a safer bet to close than D'Angelo Russell. He's cheaper than D'Angelo Russell. He's more likely to close than D'Angelo Russell. And in terms of like guys who can get hot and fill it up like every now and then, he feels not as good a bet as D'Angelo, but close to.
Yep.
For me, it is D'Angelo Russell.
Okay, interesting. So while the people zig, you zag.
Yeah, I mean, everything that I see in pick'em lobbies and everywhere is that offers like PRA props in pick'ems favors D'Angelo Russell. The game flow, if you're a believer that, hey, Lakers need points, Russell's on the floor, Lakers are a 7-point dog, that favors D'Angelo Russell. And I don't think that he's going to shoot as bad as he did in the previous game. Like, that was really bad. So I'm going to bet on him being on the floor a little bit longer. I don't know if they have. Did they have fantasy points for Reeves yet?
No, they don't. They have a higher lower here for D'Angelo Russell at 27.35. They have one for AD at 56.65. And they have a LeBron at 46. Yeah.
And I think Steph is at 48 and Jimmy's at 48. There really is no reason that AD should be falling to 2, but I mean, you gotta get unique, because the one hole is honestly like a death sentence in these lobbies. Like, let's be real, it's not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, it was similar last night where it was like there's 7 elite talents, and then that 8th pick, you're just praying that one of them, someone jumps the shark and one of them falls back to pair with Joker. If it wasn't with Joker, you were basically making the decision every single draft of whether you wanted Maxey, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, or if you wanted to push up one of the Celtics guys. Like, I pushed up Smart a couple times, did some little stuff like that. For me, on this Lakers side, I am team Austin Reeves as well as price adjusted play. And I'm basically looking to get over the field on nobody other than Anthony Davis from the Lakers side tonight. That's just kind of it for me. I think if the Lakers really want to go and be like, hey, we're going to rip this game on this floor and take this series now, I think it has to run through Anthony Davis. I think it has to be, I think they made a good in-game adjustment last game. I think when you take a step back and watch the film and do all that bullshit, that you can go and dissect this, that like, hey man, they're trying to do this Peyton thing. Let's get out there with Anthony Davis and make them pay for running small, right? Like, punish them. Whether they get a switch on the defensive end and it's Draymond out there, punish them for going small, right? Neumy, Warriors side favorite, cost adjusted, and then we'll hop in a draft. Oh, / do you think they start with this?
I do. Oh, man. I do. I think they start with it. To be honest, though, who knows? It's Steve Kerr. We'll put it at that. But what I will say is, I think tonight could be a Steph game like we just saw. I think it could be season on. I put it on a tweet, like it's elimination game at home. Like I think it could be a Steph game. Now, is he my favorite price adjusted? No, I'm probably going to go with Gary Payton just because of the way, like what the points that you're going to get there and the relative value with the guys there. I do like him being available almost every draft in the 6 sometimes. But I will just caveat and say I personally don't know if how much I'm going to do it, but I might thrust up Steph a little bit after basically AD and be like, I think today's a Steph game. I think it's the game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. There's a couple things with Steph that I would say this, like he put up the 70 burger last game. I'm not expecting a triple double from Steph, but if they play small and they use him as a bit of a distributor off that high side screen and roll, and if you get the separation, guy goes under the screen, he goes up, free shot. You give him 1.5 feet of space, that's a 3 for Steph most of the time, right? Or he takes the quality pass there. The way they're playing right now opens the door for Steph to have a lot more dimes than we're traditionally used to seeing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a nice night to get over the field on Steph, and Steph is my 102 as well. Nez, rotation here. Do you agree with the starting lineup, and who do you want to get over the field on? Or favorite cost adjusted?
Yeah, that starting lineup feels accurate. Okay. Like I said, I could see them potentially like trying something different with Gary Payton, but I didn't think Gary Payton was the problem. My favorite play, cost adjusted, by the numbers, it would tell you Andrew Wiggins. I have a lot of Andrew Wiggins because he's always there at like the 1-2 turn all the time.
I'm a good time.
I'm taking a lot of Dante though. I'm taking a lot of Dante, and the thesis for Dante is, maybe he actually gets there during real minutes, but if they blow out the Lakers, when they blew out the Lakers before, Dante ran the entire fourth, and if they're up, Dante is a pretty good defender. I know so is Gary Payton, of course. So I'm just trying to find a point of leverage there with DiVincenzo. So it's not a ton, but it's one of my favorite weird plays.
I feel like he's a better ball handler, shooter, and scorer than Payton. Slightly worse defender. So if Payton gets into foul trouble, can they run the exact same sets as they would with Payton with him?
Like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Right? Like, I
don't know. Why not?
Yeah.
I will say on the season, granted, he's only played, I think it was 22 games in very limited sample. DiVincenzo is in the 84th percentile for defense. So
there you go.
He's on, again, very limited sample, and Gary Payton last year was a 99th percentile for defense. So for what it's worth, but he holds his own. So he's not no scrub, you know what I mean, on defense.
Yeah,
but
no,
Payton is definitely out there for that. But yeah, it's interesting because that DiVincenzo thing, like if you're just playing narratives, like last night, I was just looking at the lineup, like they did kind of what you were saying, Nez, where it's just the blowout part where not going to have any Lakers, where they didn't have any Phoenix Suns. They just had 3. It was basically the 3 guys from Boston, Philly, and then just 3 Nuggets in Michael Porter and then Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown. It's like normally you would do that draft. It's like, well, that's a lock to go right with the backup point guard plus the shooting guard that gets hot plus the scoring wing. You know what I mean? When I look at that, it's like that seems like something I would on my manual drafts kind of have to go, oh, this is me getting different. This is how I normally wouldn't build. And that's what got you there. So there's just thinking through that is a perfect way to think of where these games can go. And then if that happens, who's going to be viable in that in those minutes?
Kind of feels like we're all off Jordan Poole, right? It
kind of does feel that way.
It does.
Yeah. I mean,
and he's still getting drafted. That's the thing. Like he's not going undrafted. So
Yeah, he had a pretty high projection at first, like we were saying. So I think that
I
might
still
have.
think it's high. I still
It
think him and Looney are still mispriced. So that the fact that
Mhm.
that it was high, like it's dropped down. I still think it in my mind it hasn't dropped far enough.
Yeah, I wonder if Poole just has like it's weird. It feels thin. It feels
So
really
many.
thin.
I mean, well, so many things
Oh,
could happen tonight. It's the last
this
game of the season, and they're like, and they just here. Yeah, what do you want to do here? Well, Steph goes.
Yeah, this is a big decision point that we haven't discussed yet, is if you want to run LeBron or if you want to run Jimmy Buckets.
I feel like Jimmy's slamming the door tonight.
Jimmy slamming the door in the Garden?
Even if he's not, that offense runs through Jimmy, and he's the absolute focal point where the offense, it does not run through LeBron James anymore.
I think I do agree with that. I think the only way it runs through LeBron is when they conservatively make the decision
To
for
run it through LeBron.
Yeah, like they did in the fourth quarter last game. And I alluded to earlier.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
That's what they do tonight.
Yeah, when they need it to run through LeBron, they'll do it, and they'll be just fine.
Yeah.
They're just making a concerted effort not to have LeBron be gassed every single playoff game.
I like the
Randall
ceiling game versus the Bam ceiling game.
Yep,
always.
This is like the first 7 is almost like a lock.
Yeah, it's the
you
prototypical
almost never
start.
see.
Which is why when you were saying your hypothetical like crazy lineup, I just tried to think of that, and like it would just have to be a Golden State Warriors fan saying basically from
That's what
like
it always is.
From the 2 spot saying I'm going to take Steph, and then I'm going to take Clay, and then I'm going to take, you know what I mean, or something like that, and someone else takes something else, because to be able to get a top 4 option plus Brunson and Randall and then Bam, that board would have to be crazy.
Yeah.
Which is a good point to why it's like I kind of selfishly hoped one of these games would extend and one would finish. So then we would get a slate that would be a 3-gamer. So then we would because those are more fun. Those are more fun to draft.
I'm surprised they don't just like throw one of those out there, just like a 3K to first, and then it's sort of like the prime time Palooza where we always have overlapping slates, and you can always like, and then tomorrow there's another one where you're kind of overlapping with the other primetime games.
That would be very fun.
Yeah, just like fun. A constant like recycling of the two night slates. I don't know. Something.
The fact that this thing is
bring 80Ps back.
17K entrants and we're already at 40% filled. That's
wow.
That's crazy.
7.5K is a big number.
And that's with the dunk and the 3-man weave still going.
I like Clay.
We know.
Yeah.
I think he's a tier break. I think the Golden State guys are a tier break for me.
I think he's going to go off tonight.
It's just what is Clay going off though? Like what?
Bam.
Is that? Yeah, I was just gonna say, is that Bam? Is his ceiling game Bam's median outcome? Like,
I mean, 40. Yeah, like 40 points is like a Clay ceiling, right?
But like he'll do the Clay thing where it'll be 40 points and he'll score 38 points because he had 2 turnovers and nothing else. Like it'll just be the only thing Clay did was just run around.
He needs to score 30 real life points, I think, and it's possible. I mean, like this is everybody can kind of smell the Lakers just kind of rolling over tonight. You can just smell it. They're like, man, we've got 2 more chances to win. Like, let's just get some rest. Like, Clay's gonna go for like 50. Like, it's
right.
Just 13 for 15 from 3. Like, forget about it.
That's a really good point that Nick brings up. I think you just put it on the screen. Is like contrasting the lineup.
Let's make the pick first.
Yeah.
Let's do you guys like Hart, Lowry, Mitch?
You sold me on Mitch Rob, but I don't know.
If you asked for my vote, I would say Lowry, but like I'm not like pounding the table. But if you asked for my vote, that's what I would say.
Okay.
Even Hart, I don't know. But
yeah, let's do Lowry. Let's do Lowry and flip the board a little bit, just like this. I think Lowry and Butler can play together. I obviously think Mitch Robin and Randall can play together. I think you could flip that. I think I'm taking both Lowry and Mitchell Robinson over Hart. I think if you're making the Hart bet at 15, you're making the bet that he draws back into the starting lineup tonight.
Yeah, like for the people watching right now, and anyone that does watch this later, leave a comment down below what you would draft in this scenario when you're left with Kyle Lowry and then boys like Josh Hart and Robinson with the board we were faced with just now. Like, what are you normally doing? Because I'm just interested to see where people are going.
Big decision point. Yeah. We're gonna have one more pick here, and then Neumy, I want you to finish your thought there.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this is just
Dennis,
again like where
Schroeder.
are people going on this range? I mean, this whole they just gets grow. I mean, you can make cases. I have my favorite guys, and I think that where it gets a little like if you have biases, they can take over and they can help. They can also harm you. Where it's like, oh, this guy's definitely going to have the game, and yeah, there's that Dennis Schroeder pick, which I'll get to that. But
in that scenario, you were talking about like that grouping. Sorry, we're on the clock, but
yeah, just the whole thing
yeah.
after kind of
I want
after
to put
the
up a
last
poll.
Laker.
I want to put up a poll.
Yeah, I like Grimes here. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm
sure.
cool with
I mean,
you don't
Grimes
have to.
being like, yo, he starts, and then we get like 38 minutes from Grimes.
Yeah, for
Makes
me,
a
it's
lot of
just
sense here.
minutes, man. Like, if I can get a starter that's playing potentially 40 minutes, like, I'm going to just hope that he just runs hot. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no one else in this range is getting the type of potential run that he is. Like, it's just not. I mean, Gabe Vincent, that's the only other one that could fall into those 33 plus. You know what I mean? And Max has been playing him as well. But, like, any one of these games, just fouls. The defense makes a change mid-game, and these guys any one of these guys are irreplaceable. Like, even though what they have been doing, it's a good thing to caveat that adjustments can be made. A starting lineup could come out, one thing could happen, and they're not running the guy that they were previous. So it's.
I think we would have had a decision there if Gabe Vincent falls. I think I like Vincent in the last year. I think I'm Team Gary Payton here. And just assuming they start and it's the same thesis as Grimes, is they go back to the same starting lineup. They run small. He plays a lot of minutes. He gets 2 stocks and he hits, 3 threes.
Who would be your backup? If let's say Peyton was off the board.
Let me think about this for a sec. I think Kevin Love has the safest floor. I think Kevin Looney has the highest ceiling. I think Jordan Poole is like making the same bet as Gary Payton, but being like Payton gets foul trouble and then he runs that role off the bench. But I personally think DiVincenzo is going to play over Poole tonight, just as that secondary option. So I don't.
If I was a coach, I would play Dante over Poole, like 100%. Poole does
right.
Like it seems very obvious that he's just not in their game plans.
Right. He feels like budget drugstore Steph. Who doesn't offer much, right? Like
drugstore Steph with the TikTok.
He's shooting like when you're a negative defender in basically estimated plus minus, and then you shoot 33% from 3, and just simply can't do anything on the defensive end, can't do anything in the form of stock. Like you're just a liability out there. To that point that I was just making real quick, I'll wrap it up. Is that Gary Payton point? If the Lakers have adjusted to the Warriors going small by giving Schroeder more runs, now it hasn't equated in more fantasy points, but if that Russell isn't on game, anything like that, he gets subbed out earlier. These guys aren't on, and it's not the Lonnie Walker game. It very well could be Dennis Schroeder. It's that he's getting more facilitator. So I think he's definitely in the realm of someone that is a click. You know what I mean? I think he's definitely a click back there.
Here's a scenario. Lakers are down 6 in the 4th. They need his defense on the floor over that of like Russell and whatever, and they don't run the ball through LeBron again. Who's the ball run through then? Well, Dennis Schroeder becomes the ball handler. Like that's the guy off the dribble then, right? I mean, maybe they go to Reeves, something like that, but yeah.
I mean, it very well could be the typical. I think it's AD here, no question.
Okay. Does you agree with that statement?
Yeah, AD's been like my over the field guy. I think if it's not AD, like who would you guys be putting over? It seems like Steph is the only logical answer, right?
Steph, and then Jimmy's close up there. Like it's, you know what I mean? But yeah, Steph just, I think AD, for me, it's AD and Steph off of the ceiling that are untouchable. Sure. Could we get the LeBron game where it's like, whoa, this is 2 years ago, LeBron, like, you know what I mean? Like this, I'm on the back.
Right.
Sure. You get that. I'm not ruling that out, but yeah, I think it's definitely more likely to be AD Steph.
Yeah, I felt more confident in saying it was the LeBron game last time out, Like, they're at home. They're like, yo, we got to take this to get a stranglehold on the series. Like that felt like the LeBron game. This interesting question here, what we're doing here now because this is the big decision making tier. For me, it's Wiggins and Clay.
Yeah.
You could twist my arm, mixing in Draymond there a bit. I'm not a huge RJ guy, but if he gets hot, he could be the piece you need. Who's your guys' favorite out of this grouping?
The guy you have queued up.
Yeah.
I have to force myself to take Barrett because I don't want to completely fade him. But at this pick, I was not taking him. I was taking Draymond and Clay over him.
Draymond or Clay, guys?
Yeah.
Let's go with Draymond. Here's the narrative. Here's what I'll tell you for this lineup. Wiggins is getting his and also getting his, scoring it. So he's putting it up. That is deferring Clay to then not only scoring, to where if Clay isn't scoring, I don't want anything to do with Klay Thompson on my lineups. Like, dude is falling into some boards, falling into a stock or two. I don't want anything to do with it. Like in that range. Like for me, I think Draymond offers the highest ceiling out of these potential three. And maybe that's a hot take. Maybe that's crazy. I mean, in a desperation game, I'll say this. I think Draymond has the biggest ceiling, and he also has the smallest floor because he could be kicked out in 3 minutes. So, so I will say that. But I just think he has the highest ceiling of all three.
I think he's smart enough not to get kicked out tonight if it's close or if it's early or whatever. But he does definitely have the lowest floor in terms of getting in foul trouble the quickest. That feels like a big Draymond path is like, yo, foul trouble early, and then it's kind of like, now what do we do? I like the two guys at the top of the queue.
I do as well. Yeah, I was gonna say
Reeves at the 4-5 is really nice.
Yeah. We could get a little frisky here and try and build out like a narrative game stack, and this go all Lakers and all Warriors. But I really like going with the ceiling of Mitchell Robinson being the piece you need from the first game.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. As far as like a narrative goes, right? If you were going to game stack, like let your one piece be somebody who like doesn't need a high scoring affair to get there,
Right.
Yeah, for the Knicks to put a statement on there, it would be that Mitch Rob game. It would be, you know what I mean? Knicks coming at home, just doing it all. I just that Mitch Rob is becoming I'm more getting. You've sold me on Mitchell Robinson, so I'm excited for my 7 points.
It's kind of interesting when you look at the implied totals. Like when you look at the game totals, right? You think, oh, stay away from Heat Knicks. Just like this is like level 1 analysis, right? Stay away from Heat Knicks. Look at Warriors Lakers. Well, if you look at the implied team totals, the Knicks are like a 2-point differential from the Lakers in implied team totals. So kind of like a little sneaky there that like that game potentially isn't as ugly as we think. But I mean, man, the potential for that game to just be like 80-92 is there.
Yeah, just everybody puts the clamps. Everybody puts the clamps down. Everybody's using the full clock. We're not going to get out and run. This Lakers Warriors game from last time out looked like a JV basketball game in the first quarter.
Oh, it was awful.
It was awful. I mean, it was like get out and run and brick after brick after brick. But the point being, there were so many points available, so many wide open shots, so many second chance opportunities. And I just don't think we get that in the other series, right?
Yeah.
Brick after brick. Al Horford was on the court.
Peyton goes there. Lonnie Walker goes there. Kev Love goes there. I think this is the Gabe Vincent team where Gabe Vincent falls all the way back. And we just go Vincent plus Mitch Rob are the guys you need from the other game. And we built out, a little bit of Lakers Warriors at the front end.
He's the smartest pick, I think.
Yeah. 100%. He's the path to the most minutes. By far anyone here. Have they been going down? Sure, but he has the potential path to the most minutes in this range. Like at the last pick.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's good. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Shall I click it?
You want to do that? You want to do that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Puppies around here.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
An
insta fill.
Right on.
Insta. I
Wow.
always think
There
of
we go.
zombies when I hear
Oh, everyone's favorite Far for Prez. Only see him in the football lobbies, but that's a very iconic username.
Yeah, classic username.
He's in the dailies.
Yeah, definitely in the dailies for the football season.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's always nice to hop in
Ben.
these best ball drafts and like remind yourself that this app consists of more than like 6 players over and over again. You know what I mean?
Right.
When we're in
Yeah.
dailies, it's like you see everybody. It's like, wow, are we like the only ones like keeping this app alive? And then you go in here, finally like see some no badges. It's like,
I can breathe.
Yeah,
can breathe.
this feels good. Like I'm sure you guys know your
so
stuff,
true.
but it's it gets a little claustrophobic in the hoop streets.
Oh, that's good, man. Yo, did you one thing we haven't talked about yet, and I hope to talk about it with him in the future here, is the Herzig bet. Did you see the Herzig bet?
He made another bet?
No, there's the one that we haven't talked about it on the stream yet.
Oh, his wager with the yeah, very interesting. Seems confusing. I'm glad I'm not in charge of keeping up with those entries.
We get a Travis Kelce at 2 here.
We get the 101 for the day.
Should we do the cover boy, baby? The cover boy?
He should be the 101 today, man. This is the most informed decision that you could make.
All right.
Literally just for today. Like, and I actually like fully stand by that he should be the 101 today. You can make the most informed decisions about Chase than you can any other player in the top 5.
Fair. That is fair.
Just for a day.
Yeah.
And it's the steam is going to be insane on these teams. Like if they, what can possibly like compete with that? Like who do the Bills have to play to get in that same conversation?
The Eagles.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That should have been Super
Maybe
Bowl.
that's a better defense, but still the 2 offenses.
True.
I just think, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe the Bills play like I don't know, like I'm just
Bills Chargers like
in a dome of that week. Lions Vikings crappy defenses.
Ooh, yeah. There we go.
Lions Vikings
play the Falcons, so it's Bijan.
Lions Seahawks is the only thing that can pale in comparison. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that's I like that. The Ford Field narrative. I like that. Vikings, Lions divisional matchup, week 17. Give it to us.
That would be so sick.
That would be
has to be in the bed. Oh, I guess either one.
Either way. So.
Oh man, there you go.
No, knowing the NFL, we're either going to be in the Vikings are going to be in Lambeau or Soldier Field.
This is why we do the show, man. We're just giving you guys the plays. Watch the
you just want hold up. I'll call up Adam here for a second and see if he'll just give me the rest of that sketchy.
Crank and purple on the end, baby. Double tap that.
I think he got mistaken. He thought that it was Chiefs and Bills again. It's not, my friend. You should have been taking Burrow there.
Oh my goodness. When you see this in your lobbies, does this make you prioritize QB when we have like a what's the word? A grimace in here? Like
gremlin? I don't know.
No. I don't think
so.
Really.
You don't put a premium on QB after seeing that?
It just depends if it's round 6 and he has 6 QBs and I'm like, well, turn on autopilot mode. Although we know that doesn't matter, but still. No, I don't prioritize.
I don't know. Does it put alarm bells for you, Nez?
If it's for me, if it's on the opposite side of the board, kinda, because I just got to keep an eye on the rest of the board. If nobody else panics, then I'm good. But like if this guy comes back around and he takes another QB, like all hell is gonna break loose. So you just want to, you don't want to make any dumb decisions, but you just want to be well informed of the board. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We can.
Jalen Waddle.
You guys like Waddle the most out of this?
Yeah.
I mean,
I do.
I like Higgins a little bit too, but
let's do Waddle and then see if Higgins comes back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reasoning for it, is because I've seen It happened.
Waddle gives us outs.
I have a couple myself where I've done the chase, wait, get Higgins in the third, wait, get Burrow in the fourth, late past the pick. And it's like, yeah, that's just, I can't force that upon myself anymore once I've gotten like multiple of those.
If let's talk about like a 1v1v1 here. It's a little bit less now with Lamar gone. But like if you talk about like the Pollard versus the T Higgins versus the Andrews here, who's your favorite for this team? Who's your favorite in general?
I think T Higgins for this team, just to pair him up with Chase. In general, I will always be going. I seem to have the most Mark Andrews I've ever had, so I think he's very mispriced.
Nez?
Higgins that was like my suggestion that before Waddle, so I got to stick to that. But Pollard, everything is shaping up for Pollard to smash. I don't think they're going to bring anybody else in. I don't it could be Zeke, but even if they do bring Zeke back, like this is Pollard's backfield, and we've just been waiting for it, and we finally get it, and he's an efficiency monster. Pollard feels like a great pick, and I wonder if we see him creep up even further once some of these dominoes fall in free agency.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like I think there's a little bit of FUD around Pollard, like just a tiny bit, where he's always kind of like the last of that tier to go because we don't know if Zeke's coming back.
Right.
Well, and he is coming off a broken fibula and ankle. So like
that's a very good point. Yeah, we do kind of just toss that one out the window. You're right.
I'm not saying I'm concerned about that. I'm just saying that is in his profile.
There's reason to be.
No one's gonna say like, shut up. Like, dude, he had surgery. Like,
And like, I tried to, when I'm looking at it, cause I tried to go in and I like to look at the top when I'm doing my drafts and see that like the surgery that he underwent was like they called it like a tightrope surgery. And I forget what it specifically did, but it was, it's just the way that it was specific. So yeah, I won't go into it and all that, but it's, the ankle and the fibula, it's a big injury. So, and coming back from that, we'll see. I assume him to be just fine. I mean, if that backfield's all Pollard,
I mean, on the first, once we get the schedule to come out, and like, let's say, assume Pollard's healthy for week 1, like, and thinking about it from a daily standpoint, where we're drafting in these battle royales, Pollard could be the fourth running back off the board in a daily slate.
Good point.
And then we're just like asking ourselves, like, why didn't we just like buy him higher in best ball? Like, why didn't we just do that? Like if this is where we're pricing him in a vacuum, like, why didn't we just do this earlier? I really,
what's the difference in Pollard and Austin
Eckler? That's funny. I mean, like, dead ass.
Right.
Like, if the backfield stays as it is for both of those guys, hey man,
I'll say the offenses. I'll say the difference is probably the Kellen Moore going from Dallas
to there,
to the Chargers, and Mike McCarthy looks like someone get that guy away from the team, please.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to make them the most archaic offense ever.
He's turned back the
they're
clock
the New
10
York
years.
they're the New York Knicks of basketball, where it's grinded out, get down, like just waste as much like ball. That's why he doesn't want Dak to throw the ball at all, because that just results in turnovers and it just drives him crazy. So it's just anyway, that's a big difference for me personally. But I think that's a really good point, Nevs, is thinking just do a daily lens and thinking week 1, or just even week 4. We've seen a 3-week sample. I know it's very small, but it's like we can just assume this guy has no competition, barring injury. He's just set up to smash.
Yeah.
Why didn't we take them higher?
He's got 4 touchdowns and 320 total yards through the first 3 weeks. And, Christian McCaffrey has a Q tag. Are we drafting him 101 in dailies that week?
Yeah, like just doing that.
Like that's like
experiment now. It's crazy because it's
not
like
crazy.
Like with JJ's the 101, Kelsey's the 101, JJ's the 102, Jamar Chase that. Then you have the quarterbacks. It's like you get to the point where it's like, where are these like kind of ancillary? Like, is DJ Moore going to be thrusted up that much in dailies? You know what I mean? And all this stuff. And you have all these other wide receivers that are going to be going after him. Like,
what is up with these purple double tappers?
Yeah, it just happened 3 times.
Well, we're gonna have a pretty sick backstack somewhere, some way, somehow. So,
what a lobby! Sure. This is fun. This makes you get out of your comfort zone. Don't understand that Burrow double tap though with the quarterback.
You gotta do it, I guess.
What would you do here, John?
Mike will.
I would do Mike Will.
Yeah, I think you just take the value.
I think I would just keep pissing down my leg and be like, we're gonna figure it out, boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now we're set up with one stackable option, just to know out of our 4 wideouts.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good call out.
So, what do we think? Obviously, this is contingent, but are you thinking of just continuing to we're just pissing yellow again, or is there a detour we're thinking we're gonna make?
No, I think it has to be detour time after 4. I'm gonna shelf that there for 1 second there. Ken Walker, Kyle Pitts, or Aaron Jones?
I mean, Ken Walker in the 5th is where I'll start to buy a little bit, I will say. But
I agree. I
think Ken Walker.
Yeah, I think like the FUD around Ken Walker, like, yeah, like it makes sense. Like Sharps is there, but Sharps isn't going to completely supplant Ken Walker. I find that really hard to believe. And that's part of like my RB analysis that I'm trying to do right now is, maybe it's like like just putting a condom on, on every team, but like just looking for guys that have roles and like, yeah, like Charbs is a negative, but like Ken Walker is like when you look at the running backs behind Ken Walker, like that's a tier break in my opinion. Like maybe you could throw Aaron Jones in there for sure, but like that is a tier break and for my money, a stark tier break. So I want Ken Walker there. That's a great first running back whenever we just take 4 stud wide receivers to start. Like that's how you make up for that.
We missed out on that week 17 correlation by 1 pick.
Hey, we still have Rashee Rice. It's all right. You can stack.
Just imagine it's so if Isaiah Pacheco's sitting there, are you taking Isaiah Pacheco?
Man, no. I feel like, dude, I'm
just asking for the bit because
no, dude, it's a fair question. Like that is his ADP, like or sort of.
Is his ADP 50?
I think that might have been a 10 pick reach.
I was gonna say
there's no way. Like Pacheco, this is Pacheco's ceiling, in my opinion. I don't think things can possibly like ever get better that you take Pacheco higher. Pacheco's
an ADP of 70. That was a 20 pick reach.
Oh shit. Okay.
That's why I was like, I do not think Pacheco goes in this range. I'm really confused.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Is it very interesting? Double tight end start, double running back with Lamar thrown in there. Fun stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot of interesting things to go because look at that pick 11 pick 11. Does he have a wideout? He doesn't. He's got 2-2-0-1.
He doesn't have a wideout, but he's got a lot of testosterone.
Lot of tea, baby. Lot of tea. Couple things here. Sam Sherman threw out a little thread, I think yesterday or today, just kind of highlighting the fact that something that we talked a little bit about on the show the other day, but obviously Sam ADP chasing, going to be taking over ship chasing tonight because Pete is out. But talking about how the value of these drafts right now is 3rd round running back because stuff is going to happen over the course of the summer, whether it be, injuries or not enough of them just going in this 2nd round as is. Or we find out like, hey, Zeke doesn't sign there. Pollard moves up a little bit. We see, anyways, just saying that like, the optimal builds right now are going to be some of these 3rd round running backs that vault up opposed to like the traditional dead zone mentality. And I tend to agree right now. Do you guys feel similarly?
I do. I agree big time.
I just don't know how much can change with a lot of these guys outside of like Tony Pollard and maybe Jacobs if Jacobs signs and there's rainbow and sunshines in Las Vegas.
True.
Maybe ETN, like maybe we push up ETN because it's like, hey, who else is back there? It's him and Tank Bigsby. Like let's get serious. Maybe so. Okay, yeah. I think there's definitely some news to push those guys into that 2nd round.
I think you've already seen it a little bit because Chubb, if you go back to that board, Chubb And I know we're up here, but yeah, Chubb and Henry.
Chubb's pretty polarizing right now.
Well, they were normally third. They've been third rounders for me, and where I've been going. So they've already been pushed up in what a lot of the people will talk about on other streams. You'll see when these running back 100 drafters get in the room and they start they all they know is their home leagues running backs. Like
that might be the biggest, like one of the biggest disparities of 80, like in Chad's sheet at that high of a pick. You know what I'm saying? Like usually at that high of a pick, the range of outcomes are pretty dense. I think Chubb you really see a large range of outcomes.
We could set up backdoor Seattle with like a Tyler Lockett and then a Tua here, and then hopefully Geno comes back. Or
I think Tyler Lockett is smart.
Okay. Or we can go the running back route and be like, yo, man, we don't have any running backs. Dalvin Cook could still be the dude.
I like Cook or Lockett.
Yeah, let's do
personally.
Are you guys, so in this scenario, you'll be looking to take to 17 picks ahead of ADP for the stack. I personally wouldn't take them.
You don't think?
No, I would. I always am the proponent of let these dudes fall, and then the position that you're going to gain here, I think is, I mean, unless there's a guy that you think is in the same range as another position player later. I don't know. I would always be the proponent to set up another stack and just hope.
I think that's a good point, but yeah, I like for me looking at this now. Yeah,
that's
I'm buying a lot of Jordan Addison at price.
Yeah, I think it's Addison or Swift here.
Mm-hmm. And Addison gives us a potential Cousins stack, which I think is important.
Cousins.
Yeah. Hey. Tua might still be there.
Okay, go ahead.
Tua could definitely still be there. His ADP is 92, and if we look
exactly
at when it's
are,
coming
right?
back, it's 94. So
that's what I was going to say. There's no reason to take him here. Yeah.
The other side of the board has multiple quarterbacks taken too.
Where's the?
It's just where the Tyreek team is. Yeah.
Is it Favre or P Dubs?
No, he has Hurts.
Taco Guy Dave.
Cool. Taco Guy Dave isn't going to take Tua. He's got Hurts. He's good.
Exactly. He's Hurts.
Yeah, look, he's got George Pickens, so that means he's going to be
Swift.
Kenny Pickett. Yeah, he's going to get George Pickens with a Kenny Pickett stack later because he's like, you know what? I'm from Pennsylvania. That's what we do here. We just get Pennsylvania teams. Boom, done.
There you go.
Big fan of the Commonwealth.
Big fan of the Commonwealth. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Oh, sorry. If you want to, do you want to talk about that thread?
What thread? The sad thread or the?
I thought you were going to divert to the bet.
Yeah, let's talk about the bet for a second. Yeah, we'll hopefully have Herzig on the show or vice versa and talk about it in depth a little bit more, explain the rules of it or whatever. I just wanted to highlight it because I think it brings me back to my roots. It's so OG. It is so, heads up for rules, go me. I'm better at these games. But Herzig recognizes, man, like even if you just watched most recent stream, 3 best ball champions, BBM champions all together with Liam, him, and Pat. And you guys recognize how big of an outlier it is to win. When Herzig won the first year, there was a bit of overlay and it was like 30, the same amount of entries we had fill in one day of BBM4 was 30% of the field that year. You know what I mean? So he recognizes that as he knows that he's obviously amazing at these games, particularly football. And we've talked at length that he's like an OG, right? Like he killed, if you go back in the day, he killed drafters, man. It was him and Jennings just taking my money. Like that's literally what it was. Like 3-man lobbies. That's over and over again. T-Box, same thing. And then there was another site even before that. I think it was based out of Kentucky. Like way old school best ball contest. Shipped that one. Like he's definitively very talented and good at these games. But to win a 670,000 person contest is like outliers within outliers, right? Do we push up Cousins and do the Minnesota thing before the Jefferson owner can?
I would.
Yeah. Does someone take Tua?
Yeah, Tua went. Tua went.
Was he unstacked?
88.
Stack him?
Of course.
Yeah, unstacked.
Yeah, I think at this point,
unstacked Burrow on the other side.
I think this is where it's okay to make it, and it's past ADP. So.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
it's
no,
floating
not,
with it.
sorry, I thought it said 89.
It's like 4 or 5 picks. It's not a big
Yeah,
deal.
that doesn't.
ADP
Those are
is artificial construct, boys.
Yeah,
Anyways,
well, and for me, I just think of. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
no. We'll make this pick and then we'll finish the thought on the Herzig thing because I think it's pretty cool.
So Jahan Dotson went last round, like right in front of us, and I was just going to say Matt Harmon, he does reception perception, released a sneak peek of the Jahan Dotson route tree success rate, and he is good at everything.
Yeah,
and it's not
I
normal.
believe that.
It's not.
Who do you guys like?
I would have loved Javonte there. That would have been really fun. But
for me, it's Bateman.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do Bateman.
And me?
Fun.
You guys don't want to attack mid-range tight end? You guys want to go wait on tight end?
Yeah, I just wonder. I don't know if any of these guys separate enough. I think if I had, I think the tier break would be if I had Watson and maybe I was setting up like a full Kenny Pickett stack. But at this point, you're not getting any of Kenny Pickett's top 2 options. You're going to be stuck with what, like Freiermuth if you wanted to stack that back up, or like Robinson, and then otherwise Njoku. Sure, I could do the one-off, and that's fine. I just, I like the Bateman call here. Just get that another wide receiver. Basically, I'm just thinking of where these tight ends fit to the next tier drop. I don't think it's that big of a gap.
Divisional stack versus the Bengals, who you need in week 15.
There you go. Boom.
Sell job. Yeah, anyways, so we saw this a lot in poker back in the day where we recognize how large these fields are. We recognize how crazy an outlier on top of an outlier is to do this. And when you're putting in volume and putting in a lot of work and time into these, you want to incentivize yourself further than just simply, hey, I put up 3750. That 3750 in EV turns into like 3K. Then I hope I have a sweat later in the year, blah, 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 blah. It makes a lot of sense to do this. Now, I don't know what the optimal way to do this is because I'm not a big proponent of like advance rates and this sort of thing. I do really like some crazy outlier clauses for like shooting the moon, you know, like X amount of teams, not just like making the finals, but like having like a tiered scale of like not amount of teams through, but like outlier team winning or outlier team whatever. Like if you have one isolated team like that being worth more than getting like 3 to the finals or something like that. Anyways, I the structure of it is very cool and very fluid, and maybe something we'll talk through with him and Mark, and maybe I just don't understand, right? Like I think it's a very smart way to do it, but I think there's other kind of like cool wrinkles and outlier stuff that if we go down the rabbit hole, you could also add in. But it just brought me really far back to like my poker roots where it's like, yeah, we need to incentivize ourselves to like win these games in other ways because it's so hard to win these games. I don't know. That was kind of my biggest takeaway. And I just thought it was really cool. I thought it's really cool that a guy who is obviously very, very skilled in this region just kind of went, hey, put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to be playing $100,000 worth of best ball contests this year. Come at me. I'm the king. Like, I think it's nuts. It's so cool. It's so alpha. And I mean, Justin's been nothing but nice and a friend of the show for us for so long. So it's going to be great to sweat through and talk through with him. And I think it just draws some good attention, right?
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen it done for best ball.
Yeah, and speaking of Justin, his new series over on ETR, the Best Ball Boardroom that just dropped. Yeah, that was a fantastic first episode. So with the 3 champs, I should say, of Best Ball Mania, you know what I mean, with Liam and Pat. So yeah, definitely check that out. That was fantastic.
Interesting decisions here.
Yeah,
I think it's running back.
Which running back?
And I think you can twist my arm into any of them. Throw out a vote, gentlemen.
Damian Harris?
I'm going to throw a vote for Damian Harris.
All right. That's 2 votes, Damian Harris.
All right.
I will also say, if he falls back to us, I think this is a great team to... Never mind. Because it's a great team for Jameson Williams. You can completely mask him with like 6 pretty good wideouts.
I like doing that. That's a great point.
Yeah.
But that might be his new ADP. I don't think he's going to fall past 120 very, very much in these drafts. But that's like 15 picks past ADP right there.
Right.
That feels correct.
What are we looking at here?
it's interesting because without a schedule and without like some of these natural patterns to emerge with run backs and
Yeah.
those kind of ideas, it really, I have another, I want to ask you guys something about that actually after, but it really just kind of feels like I'd like another running back and or, I mean, who's taking naked Cole Kmet? Who's taking, something like that where
What do you think about
we get a divisional matchup versus the Minnesota stack. Could be
Komet
a
or
run
Herbert
back.
for me.
Okay, sure. I was gonna say
Both-
Herbert. I was
both
gonna
play
say
the
and
same
Gibson
narrative.
or Herbert.
Okay, let's do.
We need a tight end, and I
We
think
need a tight end.
that's good correlation, like you said. Like
Yeah.
at least for 2 games. Hopefully, it's not a week 18 game, but at least for 2 games in the season period, there's
Right.
correlation between Bears and Vikings.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys a question because I was thinking about this last night with just my gal brain bullshit. I did one of these drafts last night. We talk about correlation as a means to making easier decisions in the daily contests, right?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
We talk about correlation in week 17 as like it matters, right? You want to be densely correlated in week 17 because if a game goes off, you want pieces, blah, 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 blah. But it also makes the decisions easier, right? Like Pat's talked a lot about it, like how he wouldn't have had the Tyquan Thornton piece if it wasn't for the Miami bring back, blah, 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 right?
Yeah, it's easy. Type in Patriots and take your pick.
Yeah, right? Like that kind of like mindset. Yet so many times we see these milli makers won by like 6-leg parlays and like all this sort of stuff. Have we gone too far to the whole field thinking the exact same way in terms of correlation patterns that we need to start deviating in some facet with correlation?
But I'll push back and say, does the whole field do that though? Because like,
Right.
because how
that's the
much of us,
caveat.
how much of our community, our space
Right.
makes up of the total entrance?
The entire total
a good
entrance.
amount. But I
Yeah.
mean, there in I think
I would say Neumy to that. I would say as the knowledge becomes more common.
okay.
Have
that's
we
fair.
reached that place yet?
I don't think
Question
so
mark.
yet. No,
Yeah,
I
okay.
personally
Yeah.
don't think so yet. And I think in the term, no, I don't think so yet. I'll just say that. Nez, what do you think?
No, I'm like the running back stuff for me is not a bit. I think we are not prioritizing running back enough in these rooms, and I will liken it to baseball, where we went really heavy on our outfielders, and we and it's like, well, are we certain like that these guys are hitting? And then like you end up getting beat because you pick, the guys you pick are bust, and the guys that go after them put up the same numbers, and you're left with holding the bag.
Right.
Correlation is always going to be something that is valuable, and unless like there's like a matchup like Bengals Chiefs that gets super steamed, then like holy shit, then like yeah, then you might not be able to correlate that as much as you would like. However, I think just like we do hyper fragile running back, you never see hyper fragile wideout like similar to what we did in the puppy with 6 wideouts. It's just never done, and it's like, why not?
Right.
Why not? It's similar principles with bigger hits if those running backs end up in good spots. So I just find it weird.
I have no idea who to pick right now.
Did Romeo Dobbs go?
Run back.
I think Kendre Miller.
Okay, that's fair. I was gonna say we could set up a Jordan Love stack with
Kamara's
already
getting
having
suspended.
Minnesota.
Kamara's getting suspended. Yeah, I think Dobbs went like a long time ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Shouldn't have, but he did.
All right, that's good to know that we didn't do that because I'm just thinking of that's a fun. I mean, anyone when you can target multiple games against that against the Vikings defense, I'll sign me up.
Not a long time ago, he went the previous round at 131 there.
Still a reach.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a very interesting like segue in conversation, and something that like theoretically I talked with Mark a lot last summer is like the optimal for these contests is actually like a 1-3. I don't even know the numbers. 10-1, like true ones at the onesies. Now nobody's ever going to build that way, and nobody's ever going to like get that. But if you hit everything perfect, who do you guys like here?
You
This
go
is
ahead.
KJ
not a-
Osborne.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead and make this pick.
Osborne, I think,
Osborne.
makes the most sense.
Yeah, a little KJ Osborne and
This-
the offense in Minnesota runs
Do
through.
you
those.
shut it down now at wideout? I think you kind of
Yes.
shut it down. Yeah,
I
there's
think we
no
have
reason.
to.
Yeah, there's no reason to take.
This is probably a 3 QB team.
Yep.
100%. Yeah, Kirk doesn't
This is
offer
3
that
QB,
upside.
2 tight end. No, I think it might have to be 3 tight end. Huh.
That would be 3-5-7-3.
Yeah. And the 5 is justifiable by the fact that we spent 3 picks inside the top 10 rounds at running back.
I actually agree. I would agree with
Isn't
that.
a lot.
No, I would probably go 3-5-7-3. I'm pretty sure the advance, maybe it was 3-4-8-3 that had really low advance rates, but that's probably because of the way that it was done. You know, you can't really like look at that at face value, but I would do 3. I think 3-5-7-3 is okay, and it would be viable.
And John Boy's going to start a movement this year. It's called advance rates don't matter.
It's facts.
It's gonna be a cultural movement. I'm gonna take over. Now, I don't know. It's just very interesting.
They don't give away $3 million to who advanced the most teams.
Damn straight they don't. although if you do advance the highest scoring team, you get $500,000.
That is true.
Yeah,
That is true. That's what they should
wonder,
do. Oh, sorry,
I just wonder if we're gonna get the guy tossed in his only BBM lineup, hit the nuts, won the regular season prize somehow. Like and John, this is for you because you're quicker on your feet than me. What are the theoretical odds that someone not only takes down the highest scoring prize, but then also took down the 3 million? Like the odds of hitting that insane parlay. Like... Yeah. So it just
that's literally like 7 decimals and a 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
but
yeah, no, it's just it's crazy that we could get we've seen the stories. Someone tossed in one BBM lineup and it's the highest scoring regular season team, and it's like, how did that get there? Because they literally hit they had one dead roster spot and they just somehow happened to line up everything perfectly. You know what I mean? And the spike weeks aligned where when that guy got hurt, they took over, and so it's just going to be.
Wouldn't you guys like to know out of the group of people who maxed BBM3?
Yep.
That person who had the highest advance rates, what their ROI was. Like, I would love to know that, because that person probably had a lot of Josh Jacobs. Like that is somebody that exists. We just don't know who it is.
Right.
Probably did not run pure for the playoffs.
No, you're 100% right. You're 1000% right about that. And that's why, like, I kind of push back on like advanced rates mattering and blah, blah, blah. Like, well, it's why I talk about this as like, we've only ever played 3 slates, right? As much as you want to give all the credit in the world to like Herzig, Liam, and Crane, like, they're obviously very good, talented players and know the shit out of football, right? But it's like, it's only been like 3 slates. And that's why my mind, we're going to do this one day. We're going to do the Mount Rushmores, the whatevers. There are way more talented best ball players that just haven't hit the big one, right? For me, it's very similar to poker, where it's like all the gloss and all the name recognition get thrusted upon the guys who win the World Series of Poker, who win the whatever. Those guys aren't fucking good. Like, some of them are okay, some of them are good, but like, it's one isolated tournament, right? And it's like, anything can happen. Like, I've talked about this before. I think I've gone 0 for 15 at cashing World Series main events. Like, my ROI is minus $150,000 at the WOSOP main event, right? Like, I'm pretty fucking good. Like, it's just like, but it's like, it jogs like these crossover, and I'm not trying to throw any shade in any regard. They're very talented basketball players, but just, it's why I always joke about the sample size, and why you're joking about like the advance rate sample sizes. Like, I don't really care what anybody's win rates in these 3 contests have been, you know? Like, the ROI on them is because we know how large a field it is, how outlier it has to be to hit. Now, that being said, the fact that what do you guys like here? Running back? Singletary? Warren. You like Warren. Just say it.
Okay, take
Say
Jalen
it.
Warren. I'm like, come on.
Say it.
I'm not allowed
Say
to
it.
say it.
I was, oh man, for anyone that's new that's watching, the epitome of what we have dealt with since we started these streams. He couldn't stop the story until 12 seconds left on the timer, and then goes,
I didn't even notice it was 12 seconds on the
what do
timer.
I was
you
just
guys
listening. I didn't know
here?
either. I didn't know
Yeah,
either.
we were really.
I'm like, how far is he going to bring this down? What do you guys like here? 9 seconds left. Oh, you like Warren. I was waiting for you didn't give me an answer. Oh,
Yeah, I'll light $25 on fire for the bit any day, boys.
Do you guys? I think Taysom Hill is probably like off my board now that they signed him. I don't know if you saw a pretty cool story.
Foster Moreau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We're gonna need to draft a quarterback. We're gonna need to be setting something up. What are we doing here?
Oh boy. Stroud or Pickett?
Stroud or Pickett? Stroud and then a backdoor?
Yeah, we can go backdoor with Stroud.
Oh my god, what the fuck am I clicking? Okay. The thing is, we can't really go backdoor because Justin or because Dalton Schultz is already gone.
Oh shit.
We needed to do like Mac Jones and Mike
Brevin Jordan time.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, Brevin Jordan time. Holy smokes! Oh. This fell off the rails, boys. Another one bites the dust, man.
We don't need to correlate every quarter, do we? I mean, Leone's data said yes.
Oh no, I didn't know we needed to correlate. I just if we wanted to, the option was literally the only thing I saw quick enough was Mac Jones and Mike Gesicki, and that made me want to barf. Like that was our best option, quick at the top. Like
Levitan thinks that Gesicki's going to have a lot of routes to run and a lot of targets coming his way, just based on the way that they lost Jacoby, added in Juju, and that was it.
That's very fair. I mean,
Zach, apparently you don't. Apparently we don't today. I mean,
not
that's
today.
What I'll say. Not
forget
today.
what you heard.
Don't. Yeah. No, I think the stacks are just because so much of scoring is tethered to one another, right? And then
when your QB throws a touchdown, a wide receiver catches it or a running back catches it. So that's just like the core. That's just what it. That's just
is that what happens?
Typically,
that is what happens.
You should inform Jameis Winston that because he did not know that was what
interceptions don't matter. We'll talk about it later.
But coach, I completed 30 extra passes. Those don't count, Jameis.
They caught the ball.
Did not hit the ground. You're right, it didn't.
Yeah. Anyways, just back to like the macro stuff for like half a second is just thinking through. I don't know. Like I don't know where I was going with the trend of thought. Like just in terms of. I kind of got pulled off the wires there by us throwing this team in the trash bin. But
come on.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Well, okay. Hold on. Are we going 3 QB? Like, is that our plan? Like, obviously we're going with Kirk and Stroud. We're going 3.
Yes, I think so. But I think we have to go 3 tight end.
Yeah, I know.
So
that's the thing too, is what I was going to ask is like, so then we're going to go 3 tight end. So we're doing which is fine. I think.
Let's see what we got.
For what we're working with. It's oofda.
I wonder if Dallas signs a tight end. Like we saw Jake Ferguson. I don't know.
No, they drafted Luke Schoonmaker.
Yeah.
People like Schoonmaker. He's an RAS freak, I believe.
Oh, really?
Okay. Aren't there Jake Ferguson slappies out there somewhere?
Yeah, me in those damn showdown contests halfway through the year.
Yeah,
Hender Sloot would like a word there, as he'd be the guy you needed.
Let me private message you this tweet. He's got a lot of green on his RAS profile, so
that's cool to see.
Yeah, you like that, and I mean, like, who's he got to supplant? Like Ferguson. We might have to make the Schoonmaker bet
on this draft.
Like we just went from you just talked yourself into it by looking at a color graph. You're like, oh, green. We're taking Luke Schoonmaker.
I mean, talk yourself and anybody else, but like we're not really picking from the best of the best.
Luke Schoonmaker was going to catch a pass this year?
Ask yourself that again. Look at this. Look at that, and ask yourself again. Elite speed grade, elite agility, great explosion. 250.
That is great.
Big
I put out a
Was
tweet
it?
last night about
Second round
the
pick?
rookie
Okay.
tight ends.
Yeah.
Like
With
just like
Dalton
historical
Kincaid.
hit rates. Yeah. Just like if we just look at historical hit rates, and you know what, I'll always caveat all this stuff with, proponents of historical data, and each individual person is different and blah, blah, blah. Situations are different. But it's just interesting that we do this every year with these rookie tight ends where
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, this guy's just going to like fall right into production, right into usage. And it's just like, they are the slowest adjusting position at the NFL level every single year over year, right? It's like, running backs get thrust right into roles, wide receivers and quarterbacks get thrust right into roles. Offensive, oh no, we're on the clock, boys. It's off the rails. It is off the rails.
Did we just take
definitively off
Tajay
the rails.
Spears? Oh.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Oh no,
We
we missed
missed it.
2 picks. Yo, we got 13 seconds. Jelani Woods.
I would say Gesicki over Jelani.
Gesicki.
In Levitan, we trust with the Gesicki steam.
Oh my God, we got Tajay Spears.
All right,
Oh man.
Now we can toss this in the garbage bin, dude. We laughed at that guy
Oh.
double tapping quarterback. They're probably sitting there laughing at us now.
Spears doesn't even have an
no.
ACL. Like, what
How
are you
the
doing?
turn of tables? How the turn tables?
Okay, this is now a 2 quarterback team.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
CJ
MVP
Stroud.
Kurt coming for it, baby. Just not with
Yeah,
Justin.
MVP Kurt with the double stack, triple
yeah.
stack,
With
triple
the
stack
with
Kurt.
the double stack
with-
of the running back that might not be on the team. So we're gonna have
Yeah.
like number 2 and number 3 wide out.
No, Neumy, you're missing the thesis. We drafted this anticipating him not being on the team because we just want a double stack. We just want Addison and KJ. And then we got the Cole Kmet bring back. So Vikings and Bears in week 17 playing in the dome. This is perfect, man. This is great. I
This is
don't
what we-
see
it's
anything
exactly
wrong
what we
with this
wanted.
team.
We could have.
Yo,
We could use
and
a
then-
6 RB.
Shroud, we get divisional matchup week
Oh,
17. Tajay Spears on the run back. CJ Shroud runs in 1, passes for 2. This is, I guess we can't score 2 quarterbacks. We're painting good narratives for the quarterback, so we can't score 2 quarterbacks.
It doesn't matter.
Nah, it doesn't matter, right?
Never matter.
Cincinnati, we got you know what caps off this team? Noah Gray on the bring back for the Cincinnati stack. Week 17, Noah Gray. We got ourselves
have to
a
at this
2,
point.
6, 7,
At this
3
point, do it for the bid, please. Just do it.
contingency value off of the 101 pick over and over, or 101 tight end over and over.
Wow, that's kind of brilliant.
It's not bad, boys.
It's kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
When Travis Kelce is, we don't wish anything upon anything, but he's old. We'll just say that he's an
Oh,
older
man.
fellow. No.
I think more people should be like in real talk. I think more people should be shooting the moon on in the 18th round, and this is one of those examples.
I like it.
Oh my god!
Here we go. Sign his pass catcher tight end, but did not catch much because of the system in his college. There's a good little nugget from LaMichael.
There you
I
go.
like that.
Okay.
Very
So
nice
there's-
little
Nick's
Shoemaker
comment
Hope.
killed me.
happy mistakes. There you
Yeah.
go.
No accidents.
Yeah, I hit a couple basketball slates and I just start tossing BBM entries out.
John doesn't know what to do when
You know-
when they're past 6 rounds and there's not just straight out hoopers out there.
This is a great point, and it all comes full circle and ties back into the EV talk that I was trying to have, and why Herzig makes that bet, and why the EV doesn't always come to fruition in big contests, but you can give yourself outs to hit that, and the EV comes full circle in dailies eventually, but not everybody realizes their EVs in big tournaments. It all comes full circle because by making 2 auto draft picks in the 16th and the 17th by accident there, our EV on this team went from 2350 down to 2318.
Damn.
So it's not even bad. Oh, you wanted the Robert Woods backstack?
Oh, okay.
No, it just went. I thought that's why you were saying, damn it. I think we have to go tight end here. Komet and Gesicki. Okay, it's not terrible, but it's not good. I think we need to make a bet at tight end here, and I'd prefer if it was correlated.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, go find yourself that correlated one then, John. You go searching. Go find it. Is he doing it?
I'm actually like not opposed.
I'm fucking doing it.
It's not my $25, so.
That one touchdown, guess when it's coming.
Noah Gray, ladies and gentlemen. Two tight end
He
sets.
gets everyone to week 17, but all of a sudden he got a little injured on that last play, partying too hard. All of a sudden it's the Noah Gray week, but actually
there you go.
It's Justin Watson.
Yeah.
Oh.
Picture this. The whole thesis of this show comes full circle right now. Picture this. Week 17. Bengals. Chiefs. Bengals are up by 1 million because Chase and Higgins run it up, right? We got both. Refresh your memory. We got both. Who do you need in the red zone late in the ball game when Chad Henne is in? Because the script has gone so far the Bengals' way. It's 45-7. They each have 2 tutties. Noah Gray from Chad Henne. Play action. Shovel pass underneath. That's the thesis.
Start playing one shining moment as he's going down the field.
Oh my God.
He's just stiff arming, breaking tackles. It's the Marshawn Lynch-esque run. It's Beastquake 2.0. Just
damn straight. I love it. Okay, let's finish this one out here. Boys, grade this BBM entry. I think it's BBM3 amongst the BadgeBros, something like that. I think it is by far our worst so far. I think it started nice. Okay, here we go. Christian Kirk, CJ, Christian Kirk.
You're off to a great.
You're not wrong. As a visual dyslexic, that is something I have never related to harder right there. That is something I have never related to harder.
You are not wrong.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
A Christian named Kurt. Kirk Cousins.
Well
CJ Stroud. Ken Walker. Dalvin Cook. Damian Harris. Kendry Miller. Jalen Warren. Tajay Spears. Chase, Waddle, Higgins, Big Mike Will, Jordan Addison, Bateman, KJ Osborne, Cole Kmet, Mike Gesicki, more like Mike Gesicki if you ask me, and Noah Gray. That is honestly not as bad as I was anticipating.
You guys forgot how fucking stacked a wide receiver room was on this team.
I think we had a really nice 7 rounds, boys, and because of that, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. What do you guys think?
5.
Yeah. No, it's not a. You can't let the sins of the 14th round
stack up. Did we stack CJ Stroud?
No. This is complete naked CJ Stroud.
Okay, 5.6. Thank you.
But we ran it back. With a very sharp pick.
Tajay Spears? With the auto draft, Tajay Spears?
You guys are too hard on yourself. This team is good.
Picture this.
We don't draft that
fullback. It's to the fullback. It's 2 QB sneaks. Derrick Henry's no longer just relevant anymore. This dude has an ACL.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Good team.
All right. That was a fun one, gentlemen.
Name this team. Picture this.
Yeah, picture this. Right. That's a fun one. Nice week 17 nugget. Gonna have 2 nice basketball games tonight. Draft whoever the hell you want after the first 7 picks because there are a lot of fun narratives that can come into play. It could be the Jordan Poole bounce back. It could be the Kevin Looney draws back into the starting lineup. We could see Josh Hart do the same. Could be Quentin Grimes. Who knows, man? A lot of fun paths to tell stories in the NBA slate tonight. Good BBM draft there. Fun BBM draft. And anything parting words, gentlemen, to wrap it up before we tell the people where to find us tomorrow?
Got nothing. Well, got nothing. I will be out tomorrow, though. So take care. Make sure these guys are behaving. Hit me up in the DMs if I got anything to take care of.
There you go. We will be back in the 7th inning stretch lobbies tomorrow. We're going to do a little bit of under and overvalued at current ADPs for the MLB contest. We'll be back on the Underdog MLB channel there. Link in the description below. Promo code MLB if you're not playing on Underdog Fantasy right now. What are you doing? And it'll be Neumy and I tomorrow, and then no show Friday. We are attending some bachelor parties this weekend. The spring weather is bordering on summer right now. I'm gonna have my shirt off all weekend.
It's
gonna
81
be awesome.
degrees. It's 81
Let's
degrees here.
go.
How warm is it there, John?
Beautiful. 17 degrees Celsius. Whatever that is.
Why not just give me something that I can? I can't do that math right now.
68, 70. 68, 70.
I'll send you guys this cool video. I saw a
really
cool thing. It's just
weekend,
gonna it's gonna be steamy up there in the up in that area. So yeah, enjoy.
Love it. All right. On behalf of Nez, Neumy, myself, everybody's favorite time of the show, the peace. Hit that like and subscribe. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.